Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Hanuman Prasad. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, IARE, which is located at Dundigal. Now, the topic I am going to discuss in today's session is from overall gender sensitization, and the name of the topic is Question Bank on Module 2, and the title of the Module 2 is Gender Roles and Relations. This title in some other places considered as Gender and Biology. Gender and Biology. Okay. When I am discussing Module 2, I have given the title Gender and Biology. But in JNTUH syllabus, it is mentioned Gender Roles and Relations. Both are the same. No need to confuse here. Okay. Now, let's discuss what are the questions that we will cover in the question bank from this Module 2. Gender Roles and Relations, or Gender and Biology. Let's see. The questions from this Module 2 are: define the term gender discrimination and explain the struggle with it. Explain the struggles with it. And the second question is: what are gender roles and describe the types of gender roles in detail. And the third question is: describe the gender roles and relationships matrix. The fourth question is: what do you mean by missing woman, and discuss its consequences. The fifth question is: explain or explore various causes of declining sex ratio. The sixth question is: detail briefly the demographic consequences. The next question is: explain the gender spectrum which is beyond the binary. And the eighth question is: discuss our bodies and our health and relate it to gender sensitization. Okay. And the ninth question is: illustrate the social construction of sexuality with a case study. Okay. And the final question, 10th question, is: distinguish between food and sexuality explicitly. So all these 10 questions that I am going to discuss from question bank of Module 2 titled Gender Roles and Relations. It can also be considered as Gender and Biology. Okay. So now let's look at each and every question in detail. First of all, question 1. This is: define the term gender discrimination and explain the struggles with it. Okay. Let's see. I have explained already these things in the modules, but now we will see in brief. Okay, so that you will get clear idea. So, define the term gender discrimination and explain the struggles with it. So, gender discrimination is defined as any exclusion or restriction made on the basis of gender that creates barriers for girls and boys, women and men in recognizing, enjoying, or expressing or exercising their full and equal human rights. What is gender discrimination? Gender discrimination is defined as any exclusion or restriction made on the basis of gender that creates barriers for boys and girls, men and women in recognizing, enjoying or exercising their full and equal human rights. Okay, the name discrimination itself indicates partiality. Okay, showing partiality in gender. Okay, so now let's look at some more details. The major struggle one faces from gender discrimination is to achieve gender equality. What is the major struggle one achieves or one faces from gender discrimination? It is to achieve gender equality. That is very major struggle that one faces from gender discrimination. It is very difficult to achieve gender equality in this gender discrimination world or in this gender discrimination society. Okay. So, explain the struggles with it. So, the major struggle is to achieve gender equality. Why gender equality? Gender equality is a fundamental human right, and that right is violated by gender-based discrimination. These two are opposite to each other. Gender equality is a fundamental human right, and that right is violated by gender-based discrimination or simply gender discrimination. Okay. So, gender disparity. Disparity means inequality. Parity means equality. Disparity means inequality. Starts in childhood. So, where gender disparity or gender inequality starts? In childhood itself. And is right now limiting the lifelong potential of children around the world and disproportionately affecting the girls also. Okay. So, gender equality is the main struggle to achieve in this gender discrimination society. Why gender equality should be achieved? Because it is a fundamental human right. That right is violated by gender-based discrimination. Gender inequality or gender disparity starts in childhood itself and is right now limiting the lifelong potential of children around the world, around the globe. And it is also disproportionately affecting the girls. Okay, in the same way it is affecting the girls. Okay, so I hope this question is clear to everyone. Define the term gender discrimination and explain the struggles with it. With it means with gender discrimination. Okay, I hope you can answer this question either in examination or in any interviews. Okay. So now let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. What are gender roles? And describe the types of gender roles in detail. What are gender roles? And describe the types of gender roles in detail. Okay. Let's see how do you answer this question. Gender roles are the expectations, stereotypes, and behavior expected of people because of their gender. So, what are gender roles? Gender roles are the expectations, stereotypes, and behavior expected of people based on their gender. Okay, gender types are the expectations, stereotypes, and behavior expected for people because of their gender. Okay. Now, how many types of gender roles are there? There are 3 types of gender roles. First one is traditional gender roles. Second one is egalitarian gender roles. And third one is transitional gender roles. Now, we will see what are these 3 roles or what are these 3 gender roles in detail. Okay. So, the first type of gender roles is traditional gender roles. So, here the man works and the woman takes care of the children and the home. So, which kind of gender roles are considered as traditional gender roles? Where the man works and the woman takes care of child and the home. Woman takes care of the child and the home. So these type of gender roles are considered as traditional gender roles. Okay. And secondly, egalitarian gender roles. So what kind of gender roles are considered in egalitarian gender roles? Here, the man and woman are equal in everything. So this is what people wants to achieve. This is what our society is needed to be achieved, because this will be helpful in growing our society throughout the world. Okay. So in egalitarian gender roles, the gender roles where the man and woman are equal in everything. Okay. So this is the required one for society. And the third one, or third type of gender roles, is transitional gender roles. Here, the man works and is the breadwinner. Breadwinner means he gives food for the family members, especially to the wife and to the children. Okay. But the woman can work if she wants to. This is transitional. So based on the family condition, so people prefer whether the woman has to work or not. The family condition is poor, then generally people will go for the employment of woman also. If the family condition is rich, then in general people will go for staying the wives at home itself. Okay. So this is because of gender-based violence. Okay. So if gender equality is achieved, then gender-based violence cannot be exist in world. Believe me. So gender equality is the major struggle that has to be achieved from gender discrimination. In this gender discrimination society, it is a major challenge to achieve, or it is a major struggle to achieve gender equality. So gender roles are three types: traditional gender roles, egalitarian gender roles, and transitional gender roles. In the traditional gender roles, man works and the woman takes care of the children and the home. In the egalitarian gender roles, both man and woman are equal in everything. Whereas in third one, the transitional gender roles, the man works and is the breadwinner, but the woman can work if she wants to, based on the family condition. So that is how you can explain, or you can describe the three types of gender roles in detail. I hope you can answer this question if it is asked in the examination or in the interviews, wherever you go for pursuing or obtaining a job. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question, third one. This is question number 3. Describe the gender roles and relationships matrix. Describe the gender roles and relationships matrix. So what is a gender matrix? Let's look at the definition first. Gender matrix is a tool that analyzes how people of different genders experience an event or health challenge, and how gender power relations may affect an intervention's ability to meet its objectives. What is gender spectrum? Not gender spectrum, gender matrix. Gender matrix is a tool that analyzes how people of different genders experience an event or health challenge, and how gender power relations may affect an intervention's ability to meet its objectives. Okay. So this is the perfect and clear-cut definition of gender matrix. Gender matrix is a tool that analyzes how people of different genders experience an event or health challenge, and how gender power relations may affect an intervention's ability to meet its objectives. Now, Let's look at the detail. It can also be used to define and analyze gender issues by the communities that are affected by them. So, gender matrix can also be used to define and analyze gender issues by the communities that are affected by them. By the communities that are affected by them. Now, gender analysis framework. How do you go for gender analysis framework? It is the tool which includes information on gender relations that affects access to resources such as land, capital, tools, knowledge, education, as well as information. So, what is gender analysis? Gender analysis is a tool, gender analysis framework is a tool which includes information on gender relations that affect access to resources such as land, capital, tools, knowledge, education and information. Okay, so this is the gender framework or gender analysis framework. Now let's look at the fourth question. So I hope if you get this question in your examination or if you face this question in any other interview, I hope you can surely answer this question without any ambiguity. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. What is question number 4? Describe the gender roles and relationships matrix. It is not question number 4. It is the continuation of question number 3. Okay. So gender analysis matrix, GAM, is the short form. It is developed by Rani Parker, and this tool uses a participatory methodology to quickly determine how a development intervention will affect men and women in a community. What is gender analysis matrix or GAM? It is developed by Rani Parker, and this tool uses a participatory methodology to quickly determine how a development intervention will affect men and women in a community. So this is considered as gender analysis matrix, GAM. It is based on the principle that the people who lives are being analyzed, have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. So gender analysis matrix or gender roles and gender relationships matrix. Okay. So this is based on the principle that the people who lives are being analyzed, have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. Okay. So it is based on the principle that the people who lives are being analyzed, have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. Okay. And let's move on to the next question, next point. The GAM, gender analysis matrix, can help identify disparities and create equitable interventions, but it needs to be refined to include all gender identities and intersectional factors. Okay, it needs to be refined to include all gender identities as well as intersectional factors. So, gender analysis matrix is developed by Rani Parker, and this tool is used as a participatory methodology to quickly determine how a development intervention will affect men and women in a community. It is based on the principle that the people who lives are being analyzed, have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. Now the GAM can help identify disparities and create equitable interventions. The previous slide, what we have seen, this tool uses a participatory methodology to quickly determine how a development intervention will affect men and women in a society. It is based on a principle that the people who lives are being analyzed have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. They have all the knowledge needed for gender analysis. Now the GIM, gender analysis matrix, can help identify disparities and create equitable interventions. But it needs to be refined to include all gender identities and intersectional factors. Okay? It is needed to be refined to include all gender identities and intersectional factors. Why it is needed to be refined? To include all gender identities and also the intersectional factors corresponding to gender. I hope you can answer this question if it is asked in either your examination or in any other interview. Okay? And now let's move on to the next question. So previously I explained question number 3 and this one is question number 4. What do you mean by missing woman and discuss its consequences? What do you mean by missing woman and discuss its consequences? The term missing woman indicates a shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a region or in a country. The term missing women indicates a shortfall in the number of women relative to the actual number or the expected number of women. Relative to the expected number of women in a region or country. Okay. And this concept of missing woman is theorized to be caused by sex-selective abortions, female infanticide, and inadequate health care and also nutrition for female children. Let's see what are the things that will cause missing women. First one, sex-selective abortions is one of the reasons to cause missing women. The second one is female infanticide. This is one more reason to cause missing women. And also inadequate health care. Not taking proper health care is also one of the reasons for gender missing women. Okay. So, what are the main causes of missing women? Sex-selective abortions, female infanticide, and inadequate health care, and finally nutrition for female children especially. Okay. These 4 are the main causes of missing women. Missing women is nothing but the shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a particular region or country. It is most often measured through male to female sex ratios. It is theorized to be caused by sex-selective abortions, female infanticide, inadequate health care and nutrition, especially for female children. The technologies enable prenatal sex selection, means before birth. There are certain technologies which can predict whether there is baby boy or baby girl in the womb of the mother. So those are called prenatal sex selection. If they like girl, then they will keep it. If they don't like girl, then they will cut it. Okay. So that is consequence of prenatal sex selection. And obviously, it is the consequence of missing women, which have been commercially available since 1970s. Okay, are a large impetus. Impetus means motive forces for missing female children especially. Okay, the technologies enable prenatal sex selection, which have been commercially available since 1970s, are a large impetus, mobile forces or motive forces for missing female children. Okay, what is the reason for missing women, especially female children? In women also, female children are important because that is the starting stage of any woman. Okay, so prenatal sex selection is the main consequence or main cause of missing women. Okay, now let's look at the continuation. The phenomenon was first noted by the Indian Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen. This phenomenon was first noted by whom? The Indian Nobel Prize winning economist, and his name is Amartya Sen. Indian Nobel Prize winning economist, and his name is Amartya Sen. In an essay in the New York Review of Books in the year 1990, various international measures have been instituted to combat the missing women, to combat the problem of missing women. What have been instituted? Various international measures have been instituted to combat the missing women or the problem of missing women. For example, to bring awareness to the problem of missing women, the OECD measures the number of missing women through the sun preference parameter in its SIGI index, SIGI index. Okay, so the problem of missing women is erased. The problem of missing women is erased through OECD measures the number of missing women through the sun preference parameter in its SIGI index. Okay. In India, the main cause of excess female deaths, which causes missing women, is due to cardiovascular diseases amongst older female population, which outstrips missing female at birth, which outstrips missing females at birth. So, what is the main cause of or main consequence of missing women in India? The main cause is excess female deaths is due to cardiovascular disease amongst the older female especially, which outstrips the missing females at birth, So that is how you can answer gender roles and relations or gender and biology related question, which is what do you mean by missing women, and discuss its consequences. Okay, now so I hope if you get this question either in your examination or in any interview, you must be able to face, and I hope you will face this question and you will answer thoroughly. Okay, now let's move on to the next content, that is means fifth question, question number 5. Explore various causes of declining sex ratio. Just now I have discussed for declining sex ratio, the main cause is missing woman concept. Why there is missing woman? Sex ratio declination means in the ratio number of girls and versus number of boys is low. So that indicates missing women. So the number of women is low. The shortfall in the expected number of women. Okay, the shortfall in the expected number of women. Then the actual number of women. Okay. So various causes of declining sex ratio include missing women and also many factors like gender discrimination. And also gender disparity or gender inequality or gender inequality. Okay, so these are the main reasons, main causes of declining sex ratio in a particular place, in a particular region, in a particular country, in a particular mandal, in a particular taluk. Okay, etc. etc. So that is how you can explore the various causes of declining sex ratio. It is mainly due to missing women. And missing women is due to what? There are 4 reasons that I have explained in the previous slides. What are the 4? sex selective abortions, female infanticide, inadequate healthcare, and nutrition. Okay. Now the next question, question number 6 is, detail briefly the demographic consequences. Demographic means it is a population count. So as you know, the population of India is very high, is large. So it is the second largest country in India with respect to population. And what is the first largest country in India according to population? China. But in the current generation, in the present generation, India has crossed the population of China. So India is in number 1 position for population count. The population is high in India now. Okay. So what are the consequences because of this demography? Demography means counting of people in a particular region or country. Okay. So the consequences are, there may be lack of jobs. Okay. Lack of jobs or lack of employment. So this is first one. The second one you can say is gender discrimination. Is also one of the consequences of gender. Is also one of the consequences of demography. And there may be variety of problems like racism. There may be variety of problems in the society like racism, etc. Okay, due to the demography, increasing demography especially. Okay, so like that there are many consequences by the demography. So these are considered as demographic consequences. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to the next question, question number 7. What is question number 7? Explain the gender spectrum beyond the binary. So once upon a time, 1 or 2 kids are planned by a family. Okay. So that means that, so 1 or 2 kids is enough in a family to run the family successfully. Okay. It's not about the budget that you have to spend on the family. It's about caring. If the number is more, you cannot care equally. If the number is less, you can care equally. So gender spectrum beyond the binary. If the count exceeds 2, count of the child exceeds 2, then it is difficult to monitor. It is difficult to monitor because it is beyond the binary. It is beyond the binary. If more than 2 childs are there, it is difficult to achieve. It is difficult to achieve. Okay, so that is what the gender spectrum gives info about. Now let's move on to the next question. I hope you can answer this 7th question either in exam or in interview successfully. Okay. Now the 8th question is, discuss our bodies and our health and relate it to gender sensitization. So the gender terms are masculine and feminine. This is related to the sex term male and this is related to the sex term female. Okay. So here masculine is the characteristic property of men and feminine is the characteristic property of women. Right. So that is the relation between men and women. Okay. So one has to keep the bodies and health properly. One has to keep the bodies and health properly in case of any infections or in case of any nutritional lack. So because if both the gender are equally strong in body and in health, then only gender equality can be achieved. Means gender disparity can be removed. Gender inequality can be removed, means gender equality will be achieved. So which finally causes gender sensitization. Gender sensitization is the concept in which the main aim is to achieve gender equality. Okay. So that is how you can achieve or you can relate it to the gender sensitization. So what you have to relate? Our bodies and our health plays crucial role in gender sensitization, the gender equal society. Okay. Both the gender must be treated equally, or both the gender must be treated without any disparity. Okay. So gender disparity should not be there. Means gender equality, inequality should not be there, and gender equality should be present in the society. Okay. So that is the brief answer for this question. I hope you can elaborate this based on your understanding. And finally, I hope you can answer this question well in the examination or in any kind of interviews if you face it. Okay, you can do it. Yes. Now, let's look at the ninth question. Question number 9. Illustrate the social construction of sexuality with a case study. There are many case studies where there is a social construction of sexuality. What are the sexual terms? Sex terms? Male and female. These are the sex terms. This is the characteristic property of men. Female, the gender term is woman. Okay. If they are adults, but if they are in adolescence or if they are in childhood, then we can call, if they are in adolescence means in youth, youngsters. Okay. So, men is considered as boy and woman is considered as girl. Now, if they are in childhood, then boy is considered as baby boy and girl is considered as baby girl. Okay, baby boy and baby girl. These are the childhood terms. So, these are the sexual terms which relates to the gender. Now, the social construction of sexuality includes a case study. Several case studies are there, but one of the case studies I have discussed in your module 2, where I have shown a person, that person based on her gender cannot stay in their village and they cannot pursue higher education because their village is very rural. Okay, so they don't have much facilities in their village, so they have to move to the cities and then they have to pursue higher educations. So during the pursuing of higher educations, so because of her gender, she could not involve in many activities and she could not involve in many male related things or many men related things. And she could not take decisions based on her gender and she could not do the masculine related things, means strength related things, because women are considered generally soft or gentle. Okay, so that is how society constructed sexuality in terms of gender. Okay, so that is what the case study that I explained in your module presentations. Okay, so go through the module presentation and you can briefly understand the case study. I have briefed here, and for detail you can go through the module lectures. Okay, now the final question, question number 10 is distinguish between food and sexuality explicitly. What do you mean by explicitly? Clearly. clearly distinguish between food and sexuality. So food is the one which can be varied, for gender or people. Okay, food can be varied. So let's say if my favorite food is paneer, another person's favorite food could be chicken. It's fine. No one will magnify it. Everybody will accept it. Okay, it is food, so it is fine. So everyone will have own food habits. So no one criticizes it. Okay, because it is just food. So it can be varied for gender. Whereas sexuality, it is fixed. Fixed for male and female. It is fixed for male and female. The male is characterized by masculine nature, having strong muscle strength or strong muscles, and female is characterized by femininity. Okay, femininity means soft and what you can say, gentle. Okay, so the main thing is food habits can be varied from place to place, and after some time I can say my favorite food is, instead of paneer, I can say my favorite food is brinjal sabji. Okay, so and after some days I can say my favorite food is dal, and after some days I can say my favorite food is tomato curry. Okay, so it can be varied. So it is not fixed. Okay, need not to be fixed. So based on your mood, based on your place, it will vary. Okay. So and similarly, sexuality cannot be determined. Sexuality cannot be expressed. Sexuality is not varied. It is fixed for the gender. It is fixed for male. It is for men. Male is for men. And it is fixed for women, which is female. So male is characterized by masculine characterization, and female is characterized by feminine characteristics. Male is characterized by masculine characteristics, means having muscle strength, and female is characterized by feminine characteristics, means gentleness and soft nature. Okay, so that is how mainly you can distinguish between food and sexuality. And for more details, you can go through the module presentations. So second module, gender roles and relations, it can also be considered as gender and biology. So that is how I have explained the second module, and you can detailedly go through it, and for the briefing I have explained here. So I hope all these 10 questions are crystal clear in your mind, and I hope you can answer these questions well, more than my teaching, because if you have understood, then you can express in your own way with more words, with more currently going situations. Okay, so that is how you can become expertized in this field. If you have more understanding, just try to understand and use the terms and relate it to the currently going issues. Okay, so our main aim is to achieve gender equality. So this kind of sensitization, this kind of awareness of gender equality is called gender sensitization. So always keep this in mind, and you should never forget this. So the references I followed were Gender Studies by Kadambari and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyan. Okay, and thank you very much for your patience, and all the very best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.